I honestly actually know I want to ask this question to Frederick Plykin. Did you actually know what quickly realize what this would it be about? Democrats don't really want to actually get personal with the Amy Coney Barrett debate when it comes to her nomination and confirmation in the Senate. The nomination procedure is really about having someone nominated, and the confirmation is really go through procedures on the floor of the Senate to have her completely verified and vetted through the very rigorous scrutiny and vetting procedure, including the committee's hearings per se. But the problem is, do you know what this personal means? That means, even though Amy truly perfectly embodies, the reasonable, relatively moderate conservative judge who would actually meet all different standards expected from a would-be Supreme Court judge, but you're the one who denied, access to the Supreme Court by refusing to hold any of a hearing for Merrick Garland. He was relatively a good choice. But you never even opened up the box to look deeper into the personhood of that person because driven by the political agendas. Senator Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and Chuck Grassley, by the way, who was at the time and chairman of the Judiciary Committee, completely killed off the entirety of the reasonable procedures that were supposed to be there. So now they actually, did do about face. They were very, hot to tell the truth, with an eye to quickening the procedures to have her confirmed. Literally, they wanted to actually, put it on the fast track. It's true. Then this type of, about face and hypocrisy and white sepulture can never be tolerated. So, from Democrats' perspective, even though she might actually be a good candidate, that's none of their concern. We don't really want to actually, come to terms with the personal issues. Needless to say, the professional capabilities of her. Because, this would be off the table and from the very beginning. Not because of her fallacy or not because of her falsehood or disqualification. It's really about the Republicans' mindset and attitude that completely silenced the presidential authority at the time, even though majority of Americans at the time truly believed that sitting president at the time, Barack Hussein Obama, should have actually, should have selected his choice, and that he had to stick to that person, whose name was Merrick Garland, by the way. Merrickgarland. It's really interesting that those people are making all sorts of stupid arguments. I'm actually very happy to hear their gainsay. If you really have, any type of substantial evidence, that's the main thing. The case of yours with a substantially concrete counter evidence to defy my logic, then I'm happy to meet you, whoever you are. I'm very, very confident about it. I really remember what happened to me, and their monitoring system could also be equally shallow by providing them with the smattering knowledge of who I am. Oh, they were actually flabbergasted. It means there are loopholes. It's my job to actually debunk their bumcum based upon this, a seriously flawed and biased deduction. Huh. You know what? We both actually experience a certain type of setbacks probably, but it's my mission to truly, hold them accountable before they were actually, before they truly claim the absolute authority of their expertise in my personhood and manhood and humanity. Before you do that, let me actually have a say in this conversation, please, because I deserve it. Because I have my own functioning mind. Excuse me, you have actually denied it for more than a decade. It's time for me to probably get some damages, compensations. Because you need to actually, at some point, I really believe that they should have prepared for this type of procedures. Think about it. And I never actually liked their framing. Think, what do they, whatever say? Oh, I'm so sorry. My word was somehow actually vexed with this beeping sound. Because, I just actually heard out what they normally at this moment claim. That I would be so delusional to imagine that I actually had a very exclusive knowledge privy to me only, with exclusivity. That I would be the only person who had a certain knowledge about this American context, no matter how shallow that might be. I have never said that. I never actually claimed such in status that might actually, qualify me as one of the original members in the colonial society to make a touchdown in American continent. I have never said that. No, I have never claimed that kind of authority. I was never been part of the colonialists who actually, eventually arrived in Plymouth. No, I have never actually, argued for the originality of my English and my um, kinship with them or affinity with American culture. I have never done that. But that does not mean I would actually be such an, pig-headed or pea-brained idiot who had no understanding whatsoever about American colloquial expressions or idioms. I really want to defy their logic by presenting a reasonable and feasible evidence that might actually completely nullify their argument. I think, I really actually, have earned a certain type of credit to deny their unilateral assumption and presumptuous arrogance, because they never actually, had a very, very materialized and admissible core admissible evidence, except hearsay evidence or their Grove mind reading system that would be so rough enough to skim the surface. That's really, you only, what you have done so far would it be beating around the bush. You might actually, exercise your influence to change the menial behavior of my life, the quotidian and the menial and mundane, actions and inactions. They can do it. But they would never change the contour of mine by morphing me into something other than what I want to be. They cannot do that. They can never actually, exercise or exert that kind of omnipotent power to bring a new life into me. Then this would have never be done. And what would have possibly be done if they ever had obtained that type of mighty potency? And I would actually probably have been a very patriotic Korean, obeying the laws here, and I would love everyone around me. But the thing is, I really have a huge respect for this culture, and I just love my neighbors, and I love, the brilliance of a Korean people. That's probably the motor of thriving culture, even breaking down the cultural barriers to be probably the most beloved cultural currency across the globe, right? It's true at this moment. The K-pop or K-culture and everything is really going well, and I just really don't want to um, say more than what I could have possibly say, because I'm not entitled to make a comment on any of these issues by assuming my professional expertise in this area. No, I'm just, unemployed person who has been actually looking for a chance to get back to American college. That's really the thingy. So I don't want to actually, claim any authority in any of these issues. I have to remain very reserved, and I just want to live a very low key life because I never want to be spotted by my haters. No, no, no. I never want to send an open invitation to them. But I don't like their frame. It's really a binary frame. I mean, I don't think it's a binary technically. It was pre-programmed and pre-engineered to harass me and demonize me. It's a one way or another. Oh, if you think that you would probably know this, then you had a tendency to assume that you're really the only one in this whole universe who somehow claims that kind of a specialty, and I mean, the qualification as a very unique and sui generis one. No, I have never said that. Please, would you not actually put the words that were not there out of my mouth? Or would you actually not put those words that I have never spoken for into my mouth? I don't appreciate that. Those were not my words. I have never endorsed any of these messages. They had a very deep-seated tendency to fabricate certain assertions based upon their presumptuous familiarity with my consciousness, and even moral conscience, to say that I possibly hatched the eggs of these ideas, or I probably nurtured or nourished these ideas. No, don't get fooled by them. These are really not my words. They are very much prone to putting the words into my mouth. Or even actually, you know what, out of my mouth, as if spoken by myself. No, I haven't never done that. Those are not spoken by me. No, they were not the truth. They were really kind of a hearsay and gainsay on the grapevine. Those are not from the horse's mouth. You should never actually take them for granted as if my own. No, please, would you not actually make that mistake? I'm begging you. I will actually put down my signature or John Hancock before I actually stand up for these type of assertions and viewpoints, even though I'm not really at all a public figure. Because I felt that, I really had no reason to defame myself, since I've never been running for something, or I'm not really even a public figure whose remarks would be traced down. So I remain really quiet and taciturn. But now I have to actually be very aggressive, because those people that are actually enjoying these type of moments to at least say whatever things they like to say and dump charges on me or lay down the blame at my door. Excuse me, that was not me. I'm not the one who endorsed this message or who championed these type of beliefs, who espoused these type of values. Please, would you actually, trash them? I don't appreciate that. One way or another type of framing, I don't want to be bound by your equation. I want to grow out of it. Because this, mold doesn't fit my character. Too simplified. I'm so sorry.